I work as a coach, and I was at home, I was on the phone with this person who says, I've been watching a lot of non-duality videos recently, and I feel scared. I feel like I'm going to lose my sense of self and that my life will become completely meaningless. And you could hear the anxiety in his voice. And before replying, I paused for a moment and I felt compassion for this brother, right? Because some parts of the non-duality scene can feel a bit uncompassionate to me sometimes, and I didn't know what he'd been exposed to. In one meeting, non-duality meeting, I watched this audience member say to the speaker, "Sometimes I think about suicide." And the speaker replied, "How long a rope do you want?" and laughed. And the guy laughed along in a meek way, but it felt so awkward. And I thought, hang on a minute, I get the subtext, it's a non-duality meeting, and he's making the joke that suicide would be just another attempt of the illusory separate self to get to a better future. But I don't think that he can be sure that that landed right. I thought, what if he is at risk of a dangerous act and goes away more confused? What if that has him feeling like his life is worthless or meaningless in a negative way? Even if there's a small chance, is it really worth the throwaway comment? Am I just being oversensitive? On one of my other videos about non-duality fallacies, we got this comment. "Thank you so much. I needed this right now. Went reading a ton of non-duality stuff and it nearly made me insane. Anxiety non-stop and racing thoughts." And I thought, I can imagine this guy hearing a message that basically says all of that anxiety and racing thoughts is just what's apparently happening, which may ultimately be true, but relatively unhelpful, and to be honest, makes you sound like an arse, right? Here's a list of 7, shall we say, non-duality fallacies that can be harmful if you do these things. Number 1, you use non-duality to bypass emotional processing and trauma healing. Number 2, you use non-duality to bypass awareness of your shadow self and shadow motivations. Number 3, you confuse non-duality with philosophies like nihilism or solipsism. Number 4, you use non-duality to negate the experience of your personal human self or the experience of other humans or other animals. Number 5, you believe non-duality makes everything meaningless, but you make that mean that everything is pointless and so you feel apathetic. Number 6, you believe there's nothing to do and therefore you avoid the activities that would be healing or growth promoting. Number 7, you use non-duality to be uncompassionate, unethical, or act like an emotionless, antisocial robot with no charisma. There are messages that are effective and those that can become disorientating for certain people. So use your discernment and sort the wheat from the chaff and know that no one, no speaker, teacher or guru is better than you, higher than you, or has access to some hidden knowledge that you don't. And that includes me. After all, there's often a few people in the comments saying, "Don't listen to Alex," and I say, yes, don't listen to me. Test it in your own experience to see if what I'm saying is true. The only real guru is the one within you. Are the messages coming from the mouths of certain non-duality speakers dangerous? Maybe for someone who has very compromised mental health, and we should be aware of that. But this message shouldn't be a disorientating or dangerous one. Sure, non-duality is dangerous to the ego or the separate self that's constantly driven to try and find peace, happiness, or enlightenment in the future. Non-duality is dangerous for all spiritual seeking because it's the end of it and the beginning of life as who you really are. An effective non-dual message isn't dangerous. It actually points to an unshakable peace and safety within you and within everything. You're having genuine non-dual revelations when, number 1, you recognize infinite consciousness is all there is. Number 2, you recognize you are infinite consciousness, having a human experience, and you're able to talk about both without neglecting one or the other. Number three, you experience the peace and love and fulfillment of your true nature. Number four, you experience challenging thoughts, feelings, sensations, or experiences, but you recognize that what you truly are remains unharmed. Number five, these revelations are not just beliefs, but are also experienced. Number six, the neuroticisms of your personal self are gradually falling away, either through healing, shadow work, or completely on their own. Number seven, non-duality makes you more compassionate. You recognize suffering in other humans and animals, and you're compelled to try to reduce that suffering because you recognize our shared oneness. And number eight, you clearly recognize a deep peace within you. You're increasingly compelled to be peaceful in the world and to see a more peaceful and sustainable planet. I explained to the gentleman on the phone, non-duality doesn't mean that everything's meaningless in a negative way. And a non-dual awakening doesn't mean that you're going to lose your sense of self in a disorientating or scary way. You still have a human experience. You're still going to be able to operate in the world. You're still going to, experience thoughts about me sometimes and probably get neurotic, angry, or frightened sometimes, but you also see it's not really you. You're so much more than that. Your true nature is undisturbable peace, love, and fulfillment. Space and time and the experience of being a person still happen, but the illusion of subject and object is seen through. You might ask, well, if I am peace and love and fulfillment, then why don't I feel like that all the time? Well, for the answer to that, watch my video, Non-Duality Explained Simply. A link will come up on the screen now, or there's a link to the video in the description. Before you go, a quick message from my sponsor, which is my personal coaching program for you. It enables me to produce all this free content. It's called the Awake and Aware program. It's a science and non-duality informed coaching program to help you live as your true nature in this world. We've had people completing this program saying they've experienced overcoming anxiety and emotional healing and breaking addictions and more happiness and focus and flow. And you can apply for the free one-to-one with me or one of my team to see if you'd be a good fit for the program over at speaktoalex.com. I hope this video helped. See you in the next one. Peace and blessings. Love you all. Peace.